Hey everyone, it's Conscious Medium Brandon. I've been away for a little bit. You can hear my voice start to come back. I hope everybody can hear me. I hope everybody's connecting. I'm going to make sure I'm on here live and we're ready to go. Here we go, here we go. And of course, it doesn't tell me when I'm actually on live. Oh, look at that. I can see myself on live right now. Fantastic, everybody. Welcome so much. I've got my chat up here. I'm going to be plugging away at this. I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit. I wanted to talk today about, oh my gosh, it doesn't even really kind of give me a chance to talk about what I'm talking about. Well, guys, I'm going to share with you what's going on with Putin, with Zelensky. I figured you guys could use an update. I think that's kind of a good thing. I'm playing around with all the software, all the new stuff. I've kind of been a studio hound the last couple of days. Last week has not been good for me, last couple of weeks, because I had literally lost my voice tenfold. It kind of sort of stunk. Hey, Susan, yes, mwah, how are you, love? We need to catch up. Lynn, Beth, awesome to see you guys. Fantastic. Thanks so much for being part of the journey here. I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff I've got going on here, but I wanted to do a quick update. This is going to be a short video. I'm going to tell you I'm going to do things a little bit differently here. I want to start showing my link tree. Everything's going to be in there. If you want to support the Empath Rising, if you want to see some of the new shows, I am actually headed out on tour again, everybody. And I am going to have shows out there. So as you click on this, right now it doesn't show it, but I'm going to be down in Long Island. Long Island, keep messaging me and telling me to get down there. Guess what? Show's coming June 10th. I also have some other things planned in upstate New York. All of those things are going to be out there on the LinkedIn by the time you click on it. And by all means, I can't wait to see you guys out there. Thank you so much for that. So let's jump to the charts here, everybody. It's a pretty fantastic time astrologically. And by the way, you're all having trouble. Everybody. It is across the board. We had this, Jupiter-Neptune conjunct. That really emphasized you to get off your ass. Excuse my French. We just went PG-13. It also told you to really kind of get going in the right direction. The universe gave me a really great chest cold, and I lost my voice for almost 10 days. And that's what you can still hear it a little bit. And as I hit the coffee, I'll be clearing that out as I go. But what's actually happening astrologically now, what you also have coming up here, you have got the partial eclipse of the moon here in Taurus, and it's one of those eclipses, and again, the partials and the fulls, you can get into kind of the dynamics of that, but what it's doing is it's really kind of ripping band-aids off, where the moon is kind of the dark energy to begin with. It's the emotional value, the stuff that you don't always wear on your sleeve unless your chart really kind of represents it. And what happens during eclipses, and we have two coming up, we have the partial one, and then like 16, 17 days later, 15 days later, we have a full. And again, whether it happens in your part of the world or not, this is mostly, I think, in Northern Africa and the Mediterranean for one of them. And what that does is it really kind of highlights the emotional value to it. It's going to bubble things up in a big, big way. So when we take a look at things like the Ukraine conflict and the war and the unprecedentedness, and again, I really try not to be political, but I have a really hard time not picking sides when the aggressor is bombing the other person and it's not equal. I mean, if Ukraine and Russia met at the border and they were fighting, I'd have a completely different outlook on this. That's not what's happening. Russia is unprovoked, and in humanity, in terms of empaths, they're wrong. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. Susan, thank you. Trudy, how are you? Yes, thank you so much. Gigi, thank you so much. Donna, Beth, don't come in the summer. Well, actually, I'm going to be in Arizona in November. I'm actually going to be announcing a retreat I'm doing in Sedona. So I hope you can join me, Beth. It'd be wonderful if you did. Thank you, guys. And again, a lot of platform stuff we've been doing, a lot of things I've been doing behind the scenes. If you don't like it, I'm going to actually list a lot of these things out, and you can find them all on my Linktree page because it's just easier. There's a lot of different platforms. We also have an online auction that we're doing with crystals. My good friend Sandy and Journey for the Crystals. She's really knows her stuff. She's my partner here in the shop, and she just finds great stuff. We're going to have a lot of things down the road. We're going to have jewelry. We're going to have large statement pieces. We're going to have some smaller stuff too, trying to fit every budget and make sure that it's all good quality. That's a thing. Also with the videos, gosh, I have a list long of stuff to do. That's why I wanted to just jump on here in the live. The editing process sometimes takes a little bit longer. The Taurus season, I'm still going to get out because I got to stay consistent with this. Normally I would have recorded it beginning of last week. I sounded like I drank a bag of nails. That's literally the way I sounded. Sorry. Hey everybody, welcome. Right now your Uranus is in your Neptune, and Jesus, that's the way it would have sounded, and that's not fair to anybody. Yes, Donna Sedona, you can go on a retreat with me. All my besties are going. Sandy, who I mentioned, Nick, we're going to do sound healing. Beth, a few other people that have signed up that keep them anonymous. But I'm going to actually make that public here by the end of the week. Also on my link tree, there's just so much to do. Stay tuned on that to get into our mailing list. A lot of people don't realize that we have a mailing list. If you go to spiritreeartisan.com, you can see a lot of the stuff that we've got going on. The retreat is out there. I just haven't really promoted it. And again, Long Island, I can't wait to get down there. I've got a huge fundraiser for my good friend Nick. So anyways, so listen, let me jump into this. Hello, Australian Gold Coast. I can't wait to get there too. A lot of Australian people on my channel. I kind of like it. I think it's a 12-hour difference. I think it's 9 a.m., give or take, depending on where you are. So right here, it's 9 p.m. We're on the same wavelength. We're north and south known, baby. Oh, yeah, that's how we roll. All right, a couple of things we're going to draw out here. Listen, let's take a look at what's going on with Zelensky. Zelensky is right there. And then Putin is right there. Zelensky, Putin. And you take a look at what's going on for them right now. And again, astrology is the astrological, the cosmic weather. It creates conditions for you to advance, for you to have sunny days, for you to have rainy days, for you to learn lessons, etc. Right? So when we take a look at Zelensky's right here, you see the sun is square with the sun. This happens 2 times a year, every 3 months before or 3 months after birthday, right? Well, right now, I mean, he's in Aquarius, so we've got that going on. And what that typically means is kind of a little bit of a pause, kind of like, hey, what are you doing? How are you doing it? And where you want to go. The sun square to Venus, I mean, listen, if he's reconnected to his wife, that's a good night. It's not Barry White's fault. The Venus square with the ascending, and don't forget, he is a Gemini in his rising. That's going to be very important for something else we'll talk about later, because he's got, and listen, I know I definitely put the Zelensky spin on this. I know it. I've seen you guys call me out. I've gotten letters from other, thank you guys. I love it. But instead of looking at it as right and wrong, just take it as my interpretation. Trust me, Spirit's involved. If Spirit's wrong, you needed to hear that. So either you get firm in what your belief system is, or, you know, kind of connect otherwise. Let me just make sure that we're here. I see that. There we go. Another Australian. Love you guys. But taking a look at the weather, right? So right here with Zelensky, we've got his Jupiter is squared with Jupiter. Can I swear? I'm not going to swear too much because I get a little upset with that. Zelensky's ready to F stuff up, man. He's ready to just be like, yeah, you know what? Don't even, I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. By the way, little bit of surprise action here, right? So, again, I want to point this out where Zelensky's stuff right here is very much his opposition, his Uranus and opposition of Uranus, also significant for a series of reasons. That reason, I believe, is so and again, Uranus is about the rebellion, right? Uranus is about being able to step into it and really kind of just be like, hey, you know what? The rebellion is here. And in this opposition, it's almost like where conjuncts always kind of like work things together. With Uranus, if it was conjunct, it would be like overdrive. Right now, it's kind of getting in there and going, what's my rebellion all about? And Lilith conjunct with Lilith, I mean, listen, this is all about where he's supposed to go. His power base, his Pluto, in opposition with Mars, means that he's kind of getting over on this war. He's taking his power back. He's saying, you know what? I'm not. No. It's kind of saying that. All right, let me put this aspect away. Let me bring Putin up, and I'm going to give him the same respect here. And again, listen, I think Putin's message here, and I want to point out two major things right here, right? So his sun is opposition with his ascending. His most personal planets are in opposition right here. Now, his Jupiter is square with Mars. So he's thinking go big or go home. This is his last push, guys. You know, they're talking about Moldova. They're talking about the part to connect Crimea, right? So this southern tier, this has always been about shoreline. This has not been about Kyiv. This has not been about Nazism. I mean, come on. This has been about a shoreline. 100% about a shoreline. And he's just basically saying, listen, I can't beat you militarily anymore. I'm going to crush you economically. When this is done, and there are symbols in this for Putin, and this is Putin's chart right here. Saturn is in opposition with Pluto. His structure works against his power. He's feeling restricted right now. His Saturn in opposition to Lilith is him not really doing the work. If he did, he clearly didn't do the work. He's a hurt little boy. And with not doing the work with this 11 angle, this is angel intervention, guys. Saturn conjunct with his North Node, here comes your lesson. You know, the Saturn conjunct with North Node could be everything from going to jail or getting put in the timeout chair. Right? And his Uranus is in opposition to Venus. Now, again, this is actually a power position for him, just like the Saturn trying to Mercury. By the way, he's about to come out with a boatload of rhetoric. We found this biolab. We found this thing. We found that thing. And listen, the United States has biolabs all over the place. Did you know that? So do Ukraine. Free countries are able to examine biological weaponry, or in most cases, biological advancements and experiments. A biolab is not a big deal unless you put a spin on it. And most of the biolab conversations are like pharmaceutical stuff. I don't want to say the name of the place, but just over the river here in upstate New York is one of the largest suppliers to Pfizer. They're a biolab in my backyard. Let's go invade them. Oh, by the way, they make gluphage, which is perfect. It's also known as metformin. So let's go get them. Let's go get the biolabs. Don't believe the rhetoric, guys. It's horse shit. Excuse my French. It's all bullshit. On both sides, by the way. Kind of goes both ways. Lynn, thank goodness you're there. Oh my gosh, Lynn, we have to connect. I had a musical dream. I posted something on my personal page on Facebook this morning. It's called Ghost Love Score. It's amazing. You were actually behind it, Lynn. Thank you. You're one of the amazing people that I met. I've met along in this journey since I started coming out on YouTube. So, okay, back on this, Lynn. Mwah, love you. I'm going to see you shortly. So, and by the way, that was the conversation. Jill, thank you so much. Jill, thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying the astrology class. And yes, by the way, the homework is slightly confusing because you're trying to do it all at once. Yeah, totally. So anyways, back on this stuff with Putin. And again, so this Saturn trine to Mercury means that he's got the state mouthpiece going, right? He's also kind of winning some people over again. So don't think that he's not kind of going in his favor. And by the way, this is the complexity of astrology, right? We always think the good guy wins. We always think that, the bad guy always has to be like, brr, I hope your Jupiter goes up Uranus. Get that one past the censors. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, we always kind of want the good guy, bad guy, whatever, and I'm clearly picking sides, and I don't really give a crap if you think I'm giving sides. The guy that bombs the children is the asshole. End quote. Make that into a t-shirt, by the way. You like my... Anyways. So in his chart, his life lessons are here. The Saturn conjunct with the North Node is gonna... he feels the noose tightening. The noose is not loose. The noose is tight, everybody. All right. Let's not forget where we're going to be together. And by the way, I'm kind of new at this part of it, doing this kind of live. And so thank you guys for a little bit of patience here. All right, this mess. By the way, most astrologers will tell you, what a fascinating chart. This is fantastic. This is literally a war zone. Literally. And before we kind of get into any of the complexities of it or anything else, I really just want to point out three aspects, because I could talk for days on this, but this is the least you need to know. Okay, and this is the important part of this. And then I'll be happy to take any questions, because I think a lot of people are interested in, in kind of the structure and question marks. Obviously, I can't predict. I can predict the weather. I can't predict the outcome. Big difference, right? Big difference. Huge difference, right? So I want to take a look at a couple of different aspects here for the purposes of our conversation. So Putin's chart, and again, I'm just going to leave that up there just so then you guys can see it. And I hope I'm actually on the page still, because I had to, yeah, there we go. Mars is in opposition. Putin's Mars is in opposition with Jupiter. So, Mars is a war bringer, right? And this is actually showing where the chart is right now. Putin has the upper hand, right? That he's kind of encapsulating this conversation, right? Other aspects, again, I'm just going to throw these out there. Putin's sun is square to Zelensky's Mercury, so he's kind of taking him out of the conversation game. He's kind of getting him into checkmate. Calm down, everybody. Relax. His sun is conjunct with Pluto, and he's actually energizing this on another level. Now, those of you that are kind of staying up on this, I know that Zelensky is meeting with other world leaders. I know he's working with a team from the U.S. There's some other stuff going on here, and one of which is Mercury trine to Zelensky. So Putin trine to Zelensky in this Mercury rising, and also in this Mercury 10th house. 10th house is always important in this because they're career military people at this point, right? I know he had an acting career. I know, Putin used to be, ex-KGB, all that other stuff. What I'm talking about is today. So in their 10th house, how they project out to the world right now, believe it or not, Putin is actually giving him credence, Zelensky, like he's giving him every reason to do what he's doing. The Mars in opposition to Jupiter, militarily, things have kind of swung back towards Putin's way, right? However, I want to point out, and by the way, this is great. All of Putin's moon action, a little bit of moon action, if you know what I'm saying, absolutely influences in this order. I hope you guys like where I'm going with this, right? His moon action focuses in on into Zelensky's Sun and Venus, right? His North Node influences his Zelensky's moon rising in 10th house. This is destiny. Oh, hello. Get the door, honey. This is destiny. This is one of those things where when you start to really pull apart charts and you start to look at it, you really pay attention to when fate starts to play at things, right? All of the dynamics in the North Node of Putin. In other words, if we believe that the North Node is about our destiny and kind of like where we're going in terms of our karmic value, our karmatic outcome, you have to realize that Putin is a player in Zelensky's world. Don't tell Putin that. I just reduced him a little bit. And he's a big crybaby, and maybe he's going to go invade Rensselaer because they make metformin, and they have biolabs over there, right? Other dipshitteries. But what you also begin to recognize is the strength that comes of this. It is purposeful that this war kind of swung towards Putin. By the way, Putin's running out of ammo, right? I just want to take a look at some of the comments right here and just kind of answer some of these things. Sunray Moon, thank you so much. Hey, and if you guys have questions in this, feel free to drop them in here. I'll get to them here in a second. I'm getting the hang of this. Getting the hang of this whole studio thing. Hi, everybody. And by the way, as a medium, these are my reading glasses. You see what I'm saying? Like a reading medium. I'll be here all weekend. Thank you. Anyways. Back to me kind of pulling this stuff out right here. What's the other aspect I want to kind of bring out of here? Okay, sorry, I got to go back and forth to this. I'm sorry I can't share this screen necessarily. I haven't quite figured out how to get this. Then his Neptunes, Putin's Neptunes, his Uranus is in opposition to his Mercury, to Zelensky's Mercury. That's significant because, again, it's kind of like he's trying to create the mouthpiece for him, right? His rebellion is trying to be over whatever it is that he's saying. But the Uranus is trying to Uranus. This is significant for this reason. This is the second aspect I wanted to kind of point out here. Because, Uranus being the house of the rebellion, the upheaval, the what have you, he keeps giving fuel to Zelensky, and it is pissing him off. Astrologically, Putin's actions, he's thinking he's putting him under his thumb, but he's really guiding him. He's really pushing him along. Now, in looking at just the 10th house influences into Zelensky, which is his career right now, right? You have like 5 main aspects. You have the Mercury trine into his 10th house. So he's giving him the power and the action. He's falling into a trap. Putin is falling into a trap here, right? Jupiter square with the 10th house. Well, this is just him trying to influence it. Like, I'm going to tell you what to do and how to do it, right? Then you have Saturn trine to the 10th house. This is super significant. Ding, 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 ding. Super significant. The fact that Putin has overplayed his hand has empowered Zelensky's career to either become a martyr. Sorry. It's the reality of war. To become a hero. He kind of already is. Or to be a champion. Destiny is on his side. And when you take a look at what's going on in Zelensky's chart, excuse me, take a deep breath, everybody. What's going on with him right now is that his Saturn is conjunct with his 10th house. Zelensky's north node is in Libra. Justice. 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 Thank you very much, Mr. Putin. You have played into the hands of fate. And again, I'm not just about rainbows and unicorns here. People are dying. This isn't a game. But if I'm going to be an optimist, as I am, I'm going to tell you that astrologically, the weather condition is perfect for Zelensky to become exactly who he's meant to be. This is about a man. As much as this war is about 2 countries, it's about 2 men. And that's why we focus in on this with the astrology. This rising sign for Putin. Oh, and by the way, Putin is a Libra. Zelensky's north node is a Libra. The influence into the ascending here, and again, I know it sounds complicated and what have you, but here's Putin being a Scorpio rising, and here is Zelensky's north node as Libra. I'm going to tell you, there is going to be a secret deal behind the scenes. There are serious negotiations. Serious negotiations. I'm going to call it. I actually think that this war ends by a significant date like 5/5. I also think that it will be Russia declaring victory. I think it will be Ukraine creating peace. And I would never eat any food unsuspectedly again if I was Putin. Because this is what I'm seeing in this chart. It still does not. He might have won the battle. He may call it the war. Putin's price now is beyond. He cashed in every single one of his karmic chips with this. He really did, guys. The fact that he's still in power, the fact that he's still alive, and the fact that he thinks he's going to come out of this with a win. And by the way, it'll be like Russia's declaring victory, blah, blah, blah. His people are about to turn on him, guys. They just are. Putin's influence of his 10th house has trine to Mercury in Zelensky, square to Jupiter, trine to Saturn, trine to Neptune, opposition to Pluto. That's where that power struggle is, kind of like he's kind of got the upper hand. The opposition to Lilith, the conjunct with the North Node. Guys, fate and destiny is being played out right in front of us. I just wish it wasn't innocent lives that were going to town here. Just being honest. I'm just being honest. It's just where we need to be here, right? Nope, I did this wrong. I'm just going to pull up another chart here. Go ahead and write your questions or comments down below. Just want to see what you guys are saying. Portland, Oregon. I think I'm coming to see you soon. Rock stars. Leo rising. Yes, I'm a Leo rising. You're a Leo sun. Fantastic. Sermons say that Putin's inner circle is going to stop him. Any hit on that? 100%. I just talked about that, Lynn. Thank you. Sunray, thank you very much. 4.1 are running for their lives. It's horrifying. Yes, I actually have a story for that. Paul, great Tucson. Not too far from there. Actually, one of our great crystal suppliers is out of Tucson. We usually get a ton of crystals out of there. It's a hotbed, I know. Yeah, pray for peace. Yeah, he's done, but not. I mean, how much of this? Let's not get caught up in the cancel culture, guys. Like, I'm going to put this away. Let's not get caught up in the cancel culture. You know, we just want him to go away, right? As an empath, here we go, guys. Here's why I did the video. I just figured it out. We're meant and destined to figure things out. We use astrology to understand how we're built, what our talents are, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are. And then we can use it for compatibility purposes with, people and parents and organizations and that sort of thing. Don't get glean-eyed with the idea of like, yep, we're just going to, and then call it karma. That's BS. It's just BS. What it gives us is the conditions of the reality, and we have to stay in the reality lane. We really do. There's a lot of really smart, intelligent astrologers out there. I'm going to be working with a couple of really funny ones. Penny Dix, look her up. She's hysterical. Fits her name too, by the way. Cheerio, love. You're going to see this when you wake up and you're going to laugh. Your moon eclipse work is fantastic. Go check out Penny Dix. She's got a great thing on the upcoming eclipses. Also, Sandra Moore, Alexei Morin, another great one. They don't have a lot of hits on their pages because they're not doing the flashy stuff. They're not doing the whatever, but damn, are they good. Pay attention to them. I've actually got some really cool stuff coming up with them. We're going to be talking about discussions about generational planets. We're going to be talking about the interpersonal planets, kind of the, we are going to go politics. We are going to go international based. And I love the connections that I've had with so many people. And again, you can sign up for a reading, whether it be mediumship, whether it be astrology. Maybe you want to see, my tarot work, whatever. I'm doing live shows again. I'm going on tour. meeting with an agent this week. Like, things are moving for me. I'm getting back on that horse that I fell off pre-COVID. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore because it wasn't right. Now it is. Pretty awesome. Thank you guys. Oh, I'm seeing some questions here. Our crystal shop, we're actually in upstate New York, but if you go to Spiritual Connections on Instagram, like and subscribe on that one. Check it off, follow it. Make sure you get the notifications. We actually sell our crystals through that space. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Sunray, definitely do that. Yeah, I'll put the names in the chat. I'm going to actually do that right now. I'm going to tell you Penny Dix. And she's going to love I gave her a shout out. She's got such a great sense of humor. Same with Sandra. Sandra's just, and she's no nonsense, man. She actually, Sandra actually, oh gosh, I hate spell check. She did a, thing, yeah, actually, Beth, I'm going to actually be sending it out tomorrow. Sorry, we got a little backloaded on that. Yeah, actually, we're just outside of Albany, Ellen. So, yeah, you can connect with that, and then we're going to be able to ship around the world. Yeah, and it's interesting because, one of the challenges that I think that we're having with all of this stuff, and again, I go back to this, is there's a lot of great astrologers out there, but 20 minutes into it, you're bored because that's why you got to keep these a little bit shorter and get to the point. I'm learning my lessons here too. But the dynamic for me is there's so much in this for your life path, for your personal stuff. The people in my complete astrology class right now, and by the way, if you wanted to sign up for it, you certainly can. I can give you all the recordings, all of the content. You're not necessarily, and by the way, there's not a ton of class, quote, participation. There's some questions, but it's not like you're not missing out on all that banter. The content is really where the sweet spot is. All the breakdowns, how it goes, and this week we're actually doing charting. It would take you a little bit to get caught up, but you can certainly jump in. Next week we talk about the moon, and that's astrological influences here. And then we talk about the healing, parts of it, where we talk about Chiron, Lilith, North and South Node, all of the dynamics about how those aspects kind of come into play with your fate, with your path, with your relationships, the things that are pro and con, and then some more charting. And we actually have some guest speakers coming in, like Penny and Sandra, who haven't answered my email yet. I'm going to let that sit on the two of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, not too far. And actually, Ellen, I would really encourage you, send us a note through there. I'll make sure Sandy's here. If not, I'm here to make sure that you have a personal escort through the whole thing, and we can make sure you're connected here. The astrology class did already start, but you can certainly still jump into it because it's kind of a recorded thing anyways. It's me presenting the information. There are some questions to it. The group actually is really proficient in connecting the dots. It's really cool. And by the way, everybody gets a little confused sometimes when you start to peel back the layers in astrology. I hope I sufficiently kind of break it down to keep it simple and then build on it so then it can become more complex, because it does get there. And I'm still learning. Even after 8-9 years of doing this, I'm still learning at it. I had a great teacher early on. He's known as the professor of astrology. He's a really nice guy. He's actually a local guy here, Reverend Tom, and he showed a lot to me years ago. And then I was like, I was kind of that student that when I first learned it, I mean, he was the guy that walked in and basically all you got was the natal grid, right? And then he goes, okay, draw your lines. It's this angle for this house, this angle for this house, this angle for this. And I mean, from scratch, dude. And, I think I was like, oh yeah, I'm so into this. I'm going to buy 20 pages. I'm going to, blah, blah, blah. I feel, it's like a journal. The first 2 pages are covered and then the third page only has a couple of scribbles. Then the 4th page just has the name at the top, and then there's nothing after that. Raise your hand if you have about 200 journals with only about 5 pages filled out. Ding, 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 ding. Very good. Okay, yeah, thanks, Sunray. Thank you for finding me funny. I appreciate you. But back on this aspect, here with the Zelensky and Putin thing, I want to actually go back to... There we go. This chart right about here. Now, I want to kind of mention... You see on the inside here, it's MC. And then you see here the other MC. This is the other thing I really wanted to point out. And this is chart reading. Chart reading 101, everybody. So you've got this opposition going on here. Where Zelensky's 10th house. You guys know where I'm going with this, right? And Putin's 10th house are just not even on the same planet. Right? So in opposition, their 4th houses are also in opposition. Right? The dominant house is the 10th house here. Right? And by the way, generally, in most charts, the 10th house is kind of like here to here. Like it's just kind of in this part. Like it's usually in the top quadrant here. There's reasons why it might shift or whatever, but it's typically straight true north. The dynamic of this being in opposition is super ridiculously important. And this is why this is coming to a head. Good, bad, or indifferent, it is coming to a head, right? Putin's 10th house is in Leo. Natural opposition to Leo is Aquarius, which is Zelensky's 10th house. Right now they are doing the dance of destiny. Like without a doubt, it is the dance of destiny. They are absolutely getting pinned into a corner and it's coming to a head. Because their public persona, and by the way, the Leo 10th house, he's got to look like he's the winner. He's got to look like he is the champion. Ego. Zelensky needs to look like he did the greater good. He's Aquarius. Aquarian is about the greater good, the humanity. It's a little cold and unfeeling. Believe it or not, in these charts, Vladimir Putin is actually the caring and loving one. Zelensky's the one that's going to rip your face off because you insulted his wife. Right? But on the flip side of that, the lessons that he's about to bring, that's why I'm telling you, the nature of Zelensky saying, I give up and I will concede, is because he's going to fight another day in a way you don't even see coming. Be it in the form of a suitcase, be it in this form of a food additive, or in a sniper. And again, I'm not calling for anything. I'm just telling you the way this chart looks and the way that this is set up, the pride, it's about to look like Putin won. Zelensky is about to look like, all right, you got me. Good game, brother. Best 2 out of 3. Because he now knows something that Putin doesn't. Right? Now, instead of Zelensky being, and Ukraine, not even Zelensky, but Ukraine being the sitting duck, no more. No more. This piece has an ulterior motive for Ukraine. I'm just telling you, it's in the chart. Spirit's kind of chiming in too. Just going to take a look at the notes here. Connie, thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, Lynn, very true to that. And Katie, I appreciate you. Good to see you. I hope people are following you, Katie. Katie, I think I follow you. By the way, if you've got content on your page and you're making comments, I check you out in a good way. I'm here to help. Leo Aquarius is most unlikely, is the most oppositional. Yeah, Micro Blue. I love that name. Micro Blue. I got a little tiny voice, but I'm here to share it with you. Don't be surprised if I'm on here with my guitar one of these days. But if I sit here with my drum... Oop. Don't move the main screen, Brandon. It says it right there on the top. Move. Okay, dudes. Dudes, seriously? Making myself dance. How about this? How about if I just do this? Get rid of it. Thank you. Have a good day. I can sit in the middle of my chair again. Yeah, Leo and Aquarius. That's a great point, Micro Blue. Apparently, I need a beer. By the way, I'm going to be at the Sacandaga Brewery on June 12th. Thank you very much, everybody. Mwah. I'm also going to be, that's just outside Albany. It's about 45 minutes outside of Albany, towards our friends in Amsterdam and Utica. Utica, I'm coming. And then also here in the Capital District down at the Arsenal Tavern. I love you guys down there. Anyways, under the tents. It's funny. Oh, no. Well, Katie, listen, bring it out. Bring it out. You can always create more. Come on, you got something to say. I love your vibe. Micro Blue. I had to slow myself down. Did you see that? Micro Blue. Yeah, so I'll explain that a little bit. So each one of the signs in the charts have an opposition, right? So as you move, just add 6, right? And the opposition of Aquarius to Leo, it couldn't be more opposite. And again, the reason why the houses, and let's just talk about the signs for 30 seconds. The reason why the signs, typically when you see a relationship of two people that are, say, like, you know, Pisces and Aries, they're just naturally not, they're going to be things intrinsically that they're just different. They're opposite. They're not even opposite. They just don't complement each other, right? You got to get a little bit further away before that really kind of rocks, right? And then you have like true opposition, you know, say like Aquarius and Leo or Pisces and Virgo, where you have the abilities, you know, I mean, Pisces and Virgo is Felix and Oscar, if you want to go the old odd couple, right? Whereas like one of them is just like, yeah, whatever, man, pizza boxes everywhere, socks on the floor, and the other one's an uptight, you know, cleaning up behind him and, you know, picking up cigars and all that other stuff. Boy, I dated myself with that one. But it's that opposition that allows us to kind of create that weather, you know, just like, you know, as I describe astrology as the weather of the cosmos and the weather that affects us, that creates the condition of change or creates the condition of something positive, something hindering, something redirected. Everybody's doing a job here. Mercury, Venus, Mars, thank them. We thank Earth. We just had Earth Day. Earth is doing a great job. It's either cleaning itself up or it's getting rid of us. Either way, the Earth will be fine, everybody. We're screwed. Anyways, I digress, George Carlin. My regards. But the oppositions create the natural polarity. And we talk about this actually in the class with duality. You need duality. And then you have triangulation, which is where you look at cosmic trines. It's the reason why we start to divide up the houses for interpersonal houses, right? The personal houses, obviously, the rising, right? You know, how you come to be with who you are and how your relationships, right? You've got your relationship houses. You've got your psychic houses. You have your career houses, right? So if you garner this the right way and you start to analyze it, you figure out where your strengths are. You also figure out what you shouldn't be doing. It's funny, I have a really interesting thing in my chart, and it's basically, it's kind of self-destructive. It's kind of fun. It's the type of thing that 10 days later, I'm like, oh, geez, I haven't done a video. I should probably do one. And as I was describing it to one of my mentors, you know, she's like, what do you think that really, she goes, define that for me. She goes, tell me what you think it means, which is why she's a great teacher. And I said, well, some people get distracted by the squirrel, right? We all have it. We get misdiagnosed with ADHD, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you have Mars and North Node in conjunct, you will create the squirrel to be distracted. Just saying. Just saying. So you've got to get creative with the interpretations here too. I just want to make sure I'm getting any of the answers here. Justice East North so prevailing over the Scorpio's ego-driven trigger and sting. Yeah, I mean, it's that story of the Scorpio, the scorpion, and the frog. You guys know that story, right? The Scorpio can never be anything but who it is, right? So the Scorpio needs to cross the river and says to the frog, "Frog, I need a lift." And the frog says, "Dude, you're a Scorpio. Like, you're going to sting me halfway over." And then the Scorpio said, "Dude, if I sting you, we both go down. Why would I do that?" And the frog goes, "Well, that's kind of good logic. All right, hop on, brother." Well, they get halfway across the river, and then the Scorpio goes, "I'm sorry, dink." They both go down. They both die. They both perish. Then, of course, we have to create our own lexicon here. And they're over up in heaven, in Frog and Scorpio heaven. And the frog is like, "Dude, you just said you weren't going to do that, and then you did it." And the Scorpio shrugged his shoulders and said, "Scorpio, what do you expect me to do? It's who I am. You knew who I was. You know what I'm about. And you know you're going down." Great analysis there, Lynn. Love it. Can't wait to get to Oregon. Cannot wait. Oh, okay. Katie, I love your art. I'm encouraging you as an artist, Katie. You do realize that. I love your artwork. I can see it. I want to see it. Yes, Odd Couple. Love it, Robin. Robin, how are you? Good to see you again. No, Virgos are not all bad. True that, Ashley. Did I say they were bad? I said they were duality. Sunray. Oh, gosh. What did I say wrong? Keeps eating my fan art usernames. Oh, gosh. Yeah, the Scorpio Impulse. Yeah, Katie, get creating. I can see it. Come on. Instead of thinking we're all going to be famous, start thinking you already are famous. And by the way, fame isn't necessarily popularity. You be important. You create that one piece for that one person, Katie. It makes it all worth it. All of this started with one reading for me. And now we have practitioners, we have different channels, we have all of this stuff, and it's amazing. And, I'm faced with a lot of options, and it's 7 of Cups. I'm in 7 of Cups mode, everybody. I've got a lot of options. Some of them have pros and cons. There might be a dragon over here, like that's a bad thing. I want a dragon. I'm just sharing that. I'd like a dragon. My regards, Monica. But I think we're all given this choice coming out of COVID. I mean, listen, I'm not going to get into the political nature of COVID, but there was reason to be concerned. I'm not sure the reaction was necessarily equivocal to the necessity of the health concerns. I'll just say it that way. I watched a lot of money trade hands. I watched a lot of organizations make money. As a medium, an empath, a parent, an adoptive parent at that, small business owner, content creator, idea generator, gregarious guy that needs the public, I'm here to tell you that I felt like the COVID time period told me to do it differently. I'm grateful for that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I saw how much money the pharmaceuticals made. It's not a conspiracy. It's actually happening. There's no more conspiracies. That's one of the beautiful things that's happening right now. The arrogance is so bombastic, they don't even bother hiding it. I'm sorry, you did what, Mr. President? And then they move on to the next news cycle and never be held accountable. Both sides of the aisle, everybody. Not a fan of it at all. The structure sucks. The chart of the United States. Oh, and by the way, Pluto Returns for the United States. What a video I'm about to put out. Requests, everybody. Put your requests down below. I had a great conversation again with my teacher. I don't mention her name because she's my aunt. Love you, Kathy. But I have such great conversations with her. And Sandra and I are going to have a very intense conversation about the Pluto returns for America. A lot of people are talking about it. And what that means is that Pluto has made their way around the sun. And it is a planet, damn it. Quit deciding when things are planets and not planets. Astronomy geeks can kind of kiss my ass and go watch Star Trek for the rest of the day. Got it? Fair enough? By the way, I am not... No, I'm here, guys. I'm here. Relax. But don't take away the planets. Don't tell me Chiron's just an asteroid. Don't tell me that Lilith is a mark in the sky that's a void. I don't want to hear your opinion. Please, don't touch my faith. Don't touch my belief system. And I believe that the stars and the asteroids and the plummeting thing that we're doing through this universe has consequence, gravity, and influence. It's predictable. It's changeable. And every single time I go through something significant in my life, I can pull the chart on it and go, there it is. Thank you very much, Neptune. Thank you, Mercury. Oh, and Mercury in retrograde coming up here. Ooh, I think we come in June 10th, which is a significant date for me all of a sudden. Pull that up. I should know this stuff off the top of my head, but I say this often. I actually would have third place sewn up on Jeopardy. I know just enough about nothing. Thank you very much. And I have the chart somewhere on my computer. Retrogrades 2022. Yeah, and oh, by the way, isn't it funny that all the Mercury retrogrades are actually listed in the Farmer's Almanac? That's old wives' tales. Yes, it is. May 10th. I'm sorry, not June 10th. May 10th. And by the way, I don't have any shows planned right now between May 10th and June 2nd. I just realized that. Huh? Go figure. But this one's going to come up in Gemini. The ball buster of Gemini. So you'll notice that the Mercury retrogrades tend to stay in one of the elements. This year it's staying in... we've got a little bit of time right there into Taurus, but full 10, 11 days. But it's primarily a Gemini. It's an air sign pull into this, right? And this is about the mind. This is about how you think and what your process is. The Mercury retrograde is also going to have you examine what your goals are. They're going to help you examine that. That Taurus sensibility is going to come under question. The stubbornness is going to get a little undone, right? Then into Gemini, it'll be like you've got to kind of recreate the wheel a little bit. So have some patience with yourself. If you're trying to take on a big project, during this time, you're going to have some stuff that just kind of the things that you thought were confident aren't going to be there. I shouldn't say that. The things that you think are going to be steady eddies are going to be just a little bit off, right? So if you think that a participant or a contract or, something that you would traditionally otherwise rely upon might not be 100%. That's all. And of course, constant reminders with MRX. I call it MRX, Mercury Retrograde. Mercury RX Retrograde. Got it? The thing of it all is, with any Mercury retrograde, it's a great time to reflect. Great time to replan, rethink, redesign. If your refrigerator's on the fritz, it's probably going to go. Your car needs a tune-up and you haven't gotten it, you're going to start bucking. That tire, you're like, that tire looks a little pop. Yep, that's what happens. Welcome, Mercury retrograde. By the way, Mercury retrograde just creates the weather for the things to fall apart that you haven't been paying attention to. It also allows you and gives you the opportunity to create, plan, map out, that sort of thing. It's funny, I'm very conscious about when I sign contracts. Very conscious. And I'm working on something right now where they're like, oh, yeah, we'll get the contract to you mid-May. And I said, well, I won't be signing anything until June. And they were like, oh, you going on vacation? I said, no, you're asking me to do astrological work for you? And I'm not going to sign a contract at a time when I shouldn't be signing a contract. I'll negotiate it. We'll have a principle and understanding. I will spit on my hand and shake. Partner. I will do that. Which, by the way, my word is bonding. That's the way it rolls. The aspect and the dynamic of astrology, though, is really important. And businesses are catching on. I work with a lot of businesses. Also individuals, couples, that sort of thing. Fascinating stuff goes on with that. Just like we're doing here with Zelensky and Putin, you can do it in your own personal life. By the way, on the second date, if you're asking them for what time they were born, in which city, little creepy ladies, cut it out. Go and look them up on Been Verified. No, I'm kidding. Boy, wouldn't that be funny if I had like research material, for like dating and trying to figure out dates of birth and that sort of thing. By the way, I am very grateful. I'm actually mulling over a couple of sponsorship offers. I don't want to give away the farm, but I will tell you I'm building a couple of partnerships. Right now, I'm really focused in on the astrology. I'm going to keep that tone. Don't worry. I'm always going to do astrology stuff. But I also do a lot of tarot. I created a really cool tarot class that actually brings in astrology. It brings in the numerology. There's so much to it, right? The dynamic that I kind of like to present is that this is a journey for you of self-discovery to understand how you work, about how you're built. But I mean, we're not given a manual with how we are. We just realize at age 25, you're like, I might not have had the best upbringing. Then you hit 45 and you're like, why am I in this shitty career? It turns into a Talking Head song. And the days go by. I could go the whole time without singing something. Please don't mark me. Hey, I'm going to look at these here. Sunray, thank you for thanking me. Hands off my Pluto, Earthbound Angel. Mwah, you speak my language. Be my spirit angel. Be my spirit guide. My power animal. Beware the Mercury Retrograde. Watch your steps always, especially on ladders. Well, of course. Hey, Robin, let's not go on ladders. Fix your roof beforehand. That's the point. Don't be lazy. Double Virgo here with Sun conjunct Pluto, Moon in Aquarius, Earthbound Angel. Could you be any more Earthbound? You are an Earthbound Angel. Are you a seventh heaven Earthbound Angel? I'm asking you that question for real if you've ever done any Chinese astrology lookup. Because what you're saying really kind of goes... So not much is going to go to plan. Yep, used to that. Well, Paper Dragon, come on. That's, What's that phrase? I plan, God laughs. Well, there we go. Yeah, you do bounce with everything. You've got that great demeanor. It's also a good time to be off social media. I tested it back in 2020. Yeah, listen, if you learned anything I no longer get offended when people tell me time out. We only have so much bandwidth. And this was something I've learned, and really just in recent years. I used to get upset when, like, my friends wouldn't come to shows and whatever. And I'm like, how many times do they need to see me do this? People that come to the shows, people that come to the channel, they need something. They, whether it's you find this entertaining, you find it connective, there's informational value here to it. And I really kind of learned that. And that social media thing's a real thing. I mean, I have a challenge right now. I don't know how much of it I want to say. I'm going to say it. I have a challenge with somebody that was in my life for a really long time, and, they didn't necessarily want to be part of things anymore. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then I watch them, like, carpet trail everything, and they like everything, and they're, meanwhile, they won't have the conversation about it, and they don't want to be engaged. They want the benefits without the engagement, right? And I'm no longer going to be the social media friends with benefits. Just not. And again, I am meeting so many other people around the world that your friends list only has 5,000 on Facebook. Well, I've met a lot of people around the globe. And as much as I love you all, real estate people, I don't need to like all your effing pages. I am not buying or selling a home anytime soon. I am not going to be your number anymore. And it's one of the ways that we give away our energy. And by the way, a friend from high school that hits you up saying, hey, like my business, be a good cat and like their business, right? However, somebody that I've never met, never seen, and they're the slickest thing since sliced bread, and they're like, hey, how you doing? Smith Realty. You know why we're different? Because of me. And then, the tooth shines, the eyes sparkle. And they're just like, I'll get you into the house of your dreams. Now, what are you pre-approved for? In other words, I have to do all the work anyways, and then you just broker it. You're no different than anybody else. I'm sorry. You might have more experience. Might get better at it. I'm not trying to insult all of the real estate people in one flail swoop, but I think it did. So sorry. But my point being is that that's one of the places that I find myself where I just get inundated. Like, oh, you're a business owner. You're connected. And they want to be seen as being connected, right? Well, listen, my friend in high school that's like, hey, I'm new on social media. This just happened to me. This is a shout out to Chad. I wonder if you ever watch any of these. He's a good guy. We jammed maybe once in our life. And he's got like a collection of Les Pauls, which I totally want to get my hands on. Anyways, I haven't heard from him in 15 years. And I think I ran into him at a grocery store and he's like, are you Brand? And I'm like, Chad, dude. Anyways, he's got a great detailing business. He's specialized in like, hot cars and, all that other stuff. He's got a great shop, blah, blah, blah. He's never really wanted for business because he's very niche, but he's like, I'm going to start doing the social media thing. I want to get my business out there. I do cool stuff and I want to share it. That's really why he's on there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to give you a plug. Yeah, I'm going to like your stuff. Like that's the connection where it's like there's value. Why do we hold the door open for people? You can talk about social contract. You can talk about you want your thank you. And by the way, do you get the thank you? Rarely. You hold the door open, you go and listen, I'm so anti self-checkout. But anyways, I'm not going to talk about all the petty larceny I do. I am going to talk about the opportunity that I miss of saying hello to somebody and having a conversation with them. That's why I'm against it. Petty larceny is real. But on the flip side of that, the social interaction that we have, and when we do things like say, hey, thank you, or have a great day, we have this construct in our mind, and especially if you're over, say, 30, where it's like, hey, thank you. Like there's a banter. There's a thing where you say, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, this generation that's coming up now, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with it. Let's not talk about what's wrong with the generation, right? I used to have hair down to my ass. There's nothing wrong with me. I was a rebel at the time. I made Andre Agassi look gorgeous. But when you say to them, hey, have a great day, and their response is, yep, used to drive me crazy. So why do we hold the door open for people? I'm going to tell you why. Because you have a standard to hold the door open for someone. You don't deserve a thank you. I don't even want to say deserve, but you can't expect a thank you. It's great when you get it. Your heart gets 2 sizes too big. You also can't think that it is a microcosm of a larger, bigger problem or solution. It was a transaction. And third, check your damn ego. Really? You're kind to people so you get feedback from them? Some of you just sat with that one. True story. Take a look to see what comments we have. I am going to start wrapping up because it's almost 10 o'clock. I got 5 more hours of things. Sunray, I love giving. Thank you so much. Lynn, you're saying, oh my God, we're miles away. I'm glad I have that effect on you. Sunray, Moon 2. Yeah, listen, I love the banter on that. Yes, way too much crazy with Facebook. Facebook is losing its moxie for a lot of reasons, and not just the metaverse, which, how science fiction Ray Carver is that crap, right? Thank you, Isaac Asimov. I've read this before. I'm along for the side. I have a lot of my family on there, but I've found that I need a break and too much. Yeah, they're trying to control it with that stuff. Listen, I'm going to tell you, one of the things that you can do is quit sharing personal stuff. Nobody wants to see what you're eating for dinner. Nobody also wants to hear how you held the door open for somebody and somebody has a political comment and blah, blah, blah. We are on burnout. We got to go within. By the way, we're barreling towards the age of Aquarius. That's the lesson we're supposed to have. Personal accountability. Don't worry about the rat bastard did or didn't do. Do I really still have 86 people signed in here? This is fantastic. I love you all. Making your stuff private. Great suggestions here, guys. Thank you so much. Very slow internet today. Christine, I'm going to see you around on the other side. I know you're going to load it back in. Paper Dragon, I like you too. Thank you. Heart tap. Doing a coloring page. Katie, just start sending me this stuff. I want to see it. I'm connected to you somehow. I dig your style. Mean that in a platonic Pluto sort of way. You're welcome for the laughs. I'm here at the Chuckle Hut. Pre-shadow of Mercy. Or Mercury, probably. What's your opinion about that? Yeah, so shadow times in astrology, you can't... I stick with the stuff of can you find it on a chart? And I'll tell you a great example of a conversation that we've already had in the Complete Astrology Guide. And again, just follow the link. You can still sign up for it. I'll get you caught up with the other stuff, etc. Oh, and by the way, I think you can still get it at the discounted rate. You're welcome. I never took the code off of it. Shadow times, you can talk about it because you're like, well, we're about 10 degrees and we're this, that, and the other thing. And retrograde is a true station to station thing. So you can predict the pre and the post pretty easily. And basically what happens in a retrograde, what a retrograde is that from our perspective, astrology is 100% the perspective of us on Earth, right? If we were on Mars, we would have a completely different chart. It's just reality. And then we'd have to say what Earth influence is. And by the way, if we were on Mars, what's to say that Earth wouldn't be about aggression and war? Think about that one for a second. But when it comes to things like shadow times, you can't necessarily find it on a chart. Once you get good at it, you can be like, well, this is where it's stationed, which means it stops. And then it keeps going in the other direction. So basically, as Mercury is going forward, because of the pivot of the Earth, it will begin to look like it's not going forward anymore and begin to go backwards, right? It'll just appear that way. It's an optical illusion, actually, with Mercury in particular and any of the retrogrades. And then what happens is it, again, from the perspective, it stops and then it starts to move again. Right? I'm showing everything off camera because it's a secret and you need to sign up for the class. But understanding that that's what it is. It's actually an optical illusion. It's not actually an astrological term. So again, I think astrologers love to kind of talk about it because it's a topic of conversation. I get it. I understand it. I applaud it. For me, I think that those shadow times are the influence of the energy. Is there energy as Mercury is slowing down? Yes, there is. You want to call it shadow time? Cool. I'm cool with that. You want to be mystical? You want to wear all black and get a black cat? Talk about your broom and your cauldron? All right, that's cool. I don't judge. I might not come to the party. You get a goat and we dance during a full moon? I'm down with that. Clothes optional. You're welcome. Your belief system can kind of be built around that. It's just like your belief system's built around everything else. At some things you're going to go, that's BS. I don't believe in that. And when you talk to avid astrologers, people that really just kind of learn things, you'll see them get, quote unquote, hung up on different parts of it. You'll see them fall in love with the moon. You'll see them be like, where's your Pluto? This Pluto return thing's a big deal. This is when I knew an astrologer was full of crap once. Oh, I got great stories. So I signed up for a reading. And, I paid a lot of money, like $400 or $500. Like, this was like, this woman's just like, well, if you'd like to say to my time is worth this, and you're going to gain an entire afternoon with me. Like, she's saying this stuff on the phone. Well, truth be told, nobody else was stupid enough to sign up with her. But she had one of those reputations where it was like, you heard from enough people that it was life-changing. In hindsight, I realized that it was life-changing for people that didn't know the difference. Bullshit meter was on high. But anyways. So she started to talk about my chart. And she started to talk about all of these returns. And she kept talking about them like in a super intelligent kind of way. Well, what the returns mean in astrology is when it makes it that full cycle. I talked about that earlier. And she was talking about my Jupiter returns, and I was like, it takes 12 years, right? It takes a long time for it to get back into the same station. And when it comes to Jupiter, it's the same house, it's the same whatever. It's years, right? Pluto takes for freaking ever, right? 248 years if you're counting. But who am I? What am I? What am I just guessing? So she's talking about this, and then she's talking about how, I was really destined. She said some positive things, right? But the part that really bothered me was how much she was trying to influence me. And this was the part where I walked away. She told me that she was actually in my chart to be her teacher, to be my teacher. That is so damning in this business. I wanted to trust her. I wanted her to believe in it. There were a couple of things that she said that it's like, it doesn't match up with what I've learned, but okay. I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride, Susie Q. And when she lost my trust in that moment, and I've seen her professionally since, by the way, she's like, wow, I told you were going to be something. You should have learned from me. Ego. And I said, that's great, but I just want to be clear with you. That reading was really important to me. I want to thank you for it. And she goes, oh, thank you. A lot of people tell me that. Here it comes. And I said, I really appreciate that you showed me who you were that day, so I didn't have to find out after signing up to be your student. Be discerning with your teachers. 100% be discerning with your teachers. It would have been, I would have learned lessons along the way. She was an intelligent woman. She had things under her belt. I had to learn lessons from my teacher, and I could have learned them from her. I will tell you, I learned them from other teachers. Sometimes I learned what not to do, how not to treat students, how to draw boundaries. That was a big thing for me. Thank you very much, Judgment Central. But it was also being able to understand how I worked. I reserve the right to change. I reserve the right to learn more information and become who I'm meant to be because I've learned and I've applied it. I don't give energy to people that show me that they can't handle it. I don't give energy to things or people that are going to disrespect me or use me or see me as a cash cow. Not going to do it. Facebook is a great place for you to say, this is where I choose to do this. Quit looking at money as the only commodity, the only exchange. It's the return on energy, but coming out in the fall. Return on energy is about you holding the door open and knowing that your standard was upheld and not getting the thank you. Forget the thank you. If you get the thank you, validation. As a medium, as spiritual beings, validation comes in waves. If you're always looking for the validation, it's your ego. I learned that so effing hard. I used to read everybody. Hey, grocery store person, are those pickles? No, just drop of the hat. Let me tell you what I'm getting. Take it or leave it. My ego's here. Leo rising. A lot of struggle. But when I started to realize that I had a bigger mission, and I only learned that through astrology, guys, just being honest. I learned it with learning hard lessons and going back to my chart going, why did I have to learn that? Oh, thank you, North Node. Thank you very much. Okay, I see the transition. My Chiron is in return right now. Self-healing. It's coming. I'm really realizing it. It creates the weather for me to grow. It creates the weather for you to grow. And whether you want somebody to read the chart, by the way, you can book a reading. Not afraid of self-promotion. Got to keep a little piece going, right? But in the class, the first thing I say to everybody is, I'm teaching you this so you can do it on your own. You can create your own standard, your own interpretation, find your own spiritual niche. Open a shop. Start doing readings. Let me tell people, your energy and your energy go together. You should work with them. Okay. I had a teacher once say to me when I started to really become, she called me because, and I don't care if she sees this either. And she said to me, she goes, listen, you keep telling people that you were a student of mine. And I said, because I was. She says, don't do that. It's my narrative. And by the way, I never say anything bad about her. I never said boo. I'd be like, oh yeah, I worked with this person. I took classes from her for a couple of years. That's really where I cut my teeth on it. And by the way, in this work, since we're so unregulated, you kind of need to say stuff like, oh, I worked with this other person and you may have heard their name before. It's a thing. Welcome to Spirit Tree. And she says, yeah, well, don't do that. And I said, that's not going to happen. You don't get to tell me what my narrative is. Did I or did I not take classes from you? The answer is yes, I did. Now you can tell me that you may prefer, and by the way, I'm currently reaching, just to let you know, I'm currently reaching 77 people. Yes, Pickles. We're reaching all of these YouTube people, 10,000 subscribers. I could have dropped your name 20 times and backed you up as a person, as a colleague, but you chose not to, and I'm okay with that. I'm not working myself out here either. I just wanted to point that out because I know she watches my stuff without her knowing that she watches my stuff. Thank you for the support. You don't have to like or subscribe. But she said something to me in that moment, and I knew exactly who she was. And it took me almost 8 years to find out who she was. Now, this is somebody I go on field trips with. I went on spiritual journeys with her. I supported her tenfold. She was doing something, I was there. And I never think it was about the money. I don't want to say that. But it sure is great when you fill a room full of people. And then somebody sitting in the back's like, I'm a student of hers, and I think the world of her. Creates great energy, right? I provided that end of the bargain for her. And here she is basically saying, don't ever use my name. Got it. I was holding the door open for her. She chose to say, don't open the door for me. Okay. I'm not upset about it, but what she said to me next told me who she was. And she said, hey, listen, there's plenty of people out there. There's plenty of business for us, right? And I stopped and I said, something's not reconciling here. And listen, sometimes this happens in life where you learn to a certain point and then you realize you're just not on the same page. And there's a way to break up, if you will, energetically, conscious uncoupling. And there's a way to tell somebody to go F themselves. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't about connecting with people. It wasn't about helping them through bereavement. By the way, things that she was all very good at. It was about the spook and the awe and the long fingernails and the tall hair. It was about the look. It was about the pizzazz. It was about fame. And listen, I had my struggles and bouts with this too. You know, having had a show in production and all that other stuff. Thank God it fell apart. Thank God. I feel bad for about 5 people that were involved with that. Makeup artists and you know, camera guys, and even the producer, who was a great guy, who put up money and just never saw a return on it. But I get the ego. The ego is a thing. You gotta have it, right? But basically what she told me was, all of this stuff has to be a trick, has to be a game, has to be a whatever. And you're my competition, and I can't have you tailoring your energy to my energy, even if it is positive. Because maybe I don't like how you do it, or the style in which you do it, or maybe I heard a rumor about you. That's a famous one. That's a great one. By the way, being a straight guy in the mediumship world, ugh, Make a mistake, they love it. Oh, they love it. He's just a man. He doesn't understand it. He's not empathetic. My chart is dripping in empathy. And yes, I say off-colored things. And yes, I have a sense of humor. And yes, I know that my blue eyes are pretty. And I have a blue eye background. I play to it. Okay, fine. But I'm also not being the jerk that says I'm fabulous. It's a brand thing, right? Not a Brandon thing, but a brand thing. Spirituality isn't a brand, but it is a vibration. Make your vibration your brand. Hey, I'm tuning in because I like to hear a funny joke. I like to hear that the world's falling apart with a little chuckle hut. Did he just make a John Hughes film reference? Yes, he did. And we were getting a slushie dumped on us as we chase the hot girl and recreate our own dream world upstairs while Chet goes hunting. It's just a reality, right? 10-10, everybody. 10-10 on the East Coast. All right, guys, just going to do a couple more shout-outs. I see Lawrence here. Lawrence, mwah, love you, buddy. Hey, you sent me a message a long time ago. Conscious uncoupling, it's a thing. I'm going to go back up here a little bit. Lisa, I'm going through a huge change, both in life and internally. And I bet my chart reflects that. Lisa, sign up, kid. Click on that. Listen, I don't mean to be... My time and efforts are valuable. And by the way, what I do with this money, I raise 3 kids that I adopted. I take care of a family and a house. I provide a space for other practitioners to figure it out. And I help everybody grow. That's where my money goes. I'm transparent. And I occasionally get a musical instrument that I don't really need, and then I play it incessantly for a while and then put it down and don't always pick it up again. Is that advice? And I'm feeling... Donna, if you go to the LinkedIn that you see a little bit earlier here, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Linktree. And by the way, I'm going to put it down below. I didn't realize I had to really oh, geez, I'm just not going to move anything anymore. If you go to Linktree at Brandon Russ, you're going to see it right on there. It's still right up there. You can book a reading, all of that good stuff. Again, a little self-promotion. I got to keep the lights on. More like I just want to show him random grapes. Random grapes? How did you know? Anyways, And by the way, I'm going to actually start doing some of these things. I'm learning some of the tools and the tricks to this. Come back to this later. On this is going to be my MailChimp sign-up thing. I'm going to start bringing people on and just start doing readings. Guys, I'm the real deal. And the reason why I'm saying it, not to be bombastic, I've done 20,000 readings. I've cut my teeth on this stuff. I've made my life to it. All my psychic houses are water signs. You're welcome, everybody. Could you imagine that? Like, what makes you a good psychic? What makes you a good medium? Well, my 12th, 8th, and 4th house are all water signs. Does that count? Yes, it does. Quite a bit, actually. Yeah, Jay, you can always rewind. Good to see you, bud. Good to see you, Jay. Kathy, thank you so much. Glad you like my style, Kate. I appreciate you, too. Me, Kay, how are you? FaceTime. Love the singing. Thank you very much. I'd love to do some more. Just found me on Facebook. Follow along. MailChimp, always fun. That would be cool. Yeah, Gigi. Yeah, and we have some full-timers coming in. I'm really changing how I do things here personally, and you got, most of you are new to finding me, but I've got old friends on this too. Got my car given to me on Mercury Retrograde. Love stories like this. Asked, was it an accident? They said, no, not true. Yes, it was. This sector is sponsored by Carfax. Go take a look. Anyways. Maybe if you're born during Mercury Retrograde, you're accustomed to that energy. Seem out of the ordinary. Earthbound Energy, Angel. God, I love this. Your commentary, Earthbound. Love your style. By the way, this is where you get my stuff. Type in Linktree, Brandon Russ, and it'll come up eventually. Great concept here. What Earthbound Angel is bringing up, I'm assuming it's she. If it's he, I don't care. The energy is real to me in the feminine divine. I'm connecting with you that way. And the statement here is really about retrograde on your birth chart, in your natal chart. And there's some debate on this, where if you're born into a retrograde, the energies don't match, or it's kind of there. Retrogrades are typically construed as like late blooming things, slightly stunted, more lessons involved. Not necessarily difficulties, but you're going to learn in a different way. Mercury retrograde, maybe your communication isn't as clean, right? So if if your Mercury is in Pisces and it's retrograde, that might be a positive thing. Where Mercury in Pisces is like, yeah, you don't always kind of tell the whole story, and you kind of get lost in the daydream, and you don't always get there. But in retrograde, maybe you might clean that up and just keep that positive sense and flow of the rest of the Pisces in retrograde. Or maybe it's in an earth sign that are typically like practical, no nonsense. Here you go. I'm going to be a cappity cap capper and just tell you like it is, drop it like it's hot, and I don't really care if you like it or not. That's a poem. Anyways. Maybe you're an air sign, or maybe you're going to overthink things, right? Where that retrograde, which is what we're going through right now, we might overthink things. That's a challenge, right? Or maybe it's in a fire sign where you're like, do I look fat in this dress? Yes, you do. Oh my God. Those are hips for days. Where did you get those? Is that like the new Nike hip pump? Like, what the hell is going on with your ass in that dress? Oh, I'm sorry. You see, I'm an Aries. I'm a Mercury in Aries. Aries and Mercury and Aries. You got the biggest ass I've ever seen. So you might have challenges with telling it like it is, right? Or communicating, that sort of thing. The retrograde might kind of do this governor thing of like, it doesn't always come out the right way, a couple more challenges. But it does indicate later on in life, once you get enough lessons, you get yourself to a point where then communication becomes a different style. So look at it. I always like to kind of look at it from a positive way. The world is not burning down. However, if you want to have a fun fact thing, YouTube might have something in it, but if you search catastrophes in retrograde, I think, catastrophes in Mercury retrograde, I remember doing that research when I was writing a different class, kind of an overview class, and I thought it was interesting. I was in my discovery mode. This is 7-8 years ago. This is a long time ago. But I remember finding a web page, and it was one of those HTML, like, font-driven pages where it's like they pick the yellowish background and the blue writing. Like, oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? But the content was awesome. And it went through all of the retrogrades. And I don't even think I fully appreciated it at the time. The Titanic, I think, was sunk during a Mercury retrograde. There were just a whole bunch of things, or maybe it was the Bismarck. World War I and World War II both broke out during a Mercury retrograde. So it's like, now as we're going into a Mercury retrograde with the Ukraine, let's go back to that. That might be the sweet spot as to when they're just like, listen, we got to come to the table and rethink this. It's a good time to replan, replot. And by the way, did I mention Putin should be concerned with people plotting against him? Go-go boots are all Aries. That's kind of hot stuff. I'm not going to say it. Oh, Donna. Okay, great. I'll get you caught up here. Cappers drive me crazy, but love them. Oh, Robin, let me tell you about cappers. As a Pisces, Leo rising, Taurus in the 10th house, I'm freaking all over the place, and I'm always go. Aquarius moon, by the way, I'll leave you for dead. But anyways, I digress. I'm dreamy, I'm unorganized. I have so many things in my houses that just distract me. Remember that whole, if you were paying attention earlier, or you caught earlier, I talked about North Node and Mars conjunct, where I just kind of like create my own problems type of thing, self-destruction sort of way. Being surrounded by Capricorns has been amazing. Capricorns and Scorpios have just been fantastic for me. Scorpios, because of the creative energy, there's a lot of match there, but there's so much practicality to Scorpios because they're just like, are we still playing here? What are we doing? Like, can we just get this done? Have your creative people be there. Scorpios. And then the Capricorns are great for planning and saying, hey, you got to be here at this time. You got to get on this. You got to do that. Don't forget this. Don't forget that. Thank you very much, Sandy Cap. So good. I don't know what go-go boots are all Aries, but I love that line. Retrograde is an internal review. Absolutely, Susan. Nailed it. Love astrology. I read cards, shadow work, and color therapy. Oh, I love color therapy. And welcome to the tribe. Oh, love that. And thank you for saying what you do. That's a voice thing. And the dad energy is really strong right now. I don't know if today is his day. He's showing me Leo, but he's saying today. There's something about today. I don't know whether he's not. Ann, I'm talking to you, Ann McVeigh. I don't know if you can give me some validation here, but I'm getting a ton of dad energy. And dad's kind of got a little bit of a pouch of a gut. And he's pointing to his stomach. I don't know if he had stomach cancer or what his deal was. Yeah, and I'm literally in the middle of a mediumship connection for him. If you can give me some validation on that, I would appreciate it. He's oh God, he's got a lot of pride here, and I'm really limited, Dan. I can't see anything about your personal stuff at all. But he's talking about the second time around, and I think he's pointing to you. I don't know if this is second love, second career, whatever the deal is, but it's your time. He's got you on this. He's talking about the gold coins. I don't know if he was a coin collector or what the deal was. Oh, 10 of Pentacles. He's got you on this. He's got you on this. Yeah, and if you can tell me what's going on with him today. Maybe this is Taurus for him, but he's pointing to today, 425. 22. If you can give me a little bit of validation on that. Yeah, Susan, it's funny. Maybe it's the eclipse stuff with him. But he's saying this is my time, and I got to keep helping you on this. See, this is why I want to bring somebody right on. You know, and I've got thousands of reviews, and GenBook got taken over, which is horseshit, and I lost like 1,000 reviews. Thanks a lot, GenBook. You sold your soul. Yeah, I hope you're still with us, and I appreciate you. Love to connect with you. And by the way, I'm not trying to troll for readings. I don't need it, but if you feel drawn to me, I want to connect with you. Fair enough. When you get to a point where you do this enough, you know, my students should ask for readings. My students should say, hey, I can do this if you're ever interested. And, you know, kind of work with that. People are telling me I'm too sarcastic, and I'm Aries rising. I think Mercury retrograde into my Taurus. Okay, so that kind of makes sense, Paper Dragon. And by the way, Aries are sarcastic. It's kind of a second language to them. They say what matters. Yes, very much so. Love the intimate time. Thank you so much. Yeah, you know, I put it out there because it's lessons, and I tailor two things so that then I protect people. I don't want to embarrass anybody. I don't want to, you know, when I was talking about that teacher, you know, listen, there was lessons in that for both of us. You know, maybe I needed to be called out, but she ran away. You're not really a teacher, are you? But you cashed the check. Moon Aquarius wants freedom. Like I said, see you later. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming, everybody. I have such duality in my chart. It's awesome. Should we be concerned about the housing market? You should be concerned about all money matters. The economy is changing. It has nothing to do with dollars anymore. We are creating dollars and economy in our basements, guys. Bitcoin, wow, that's the future. That is no longer controlled by the feds. Nope, it just shows how much bullshit the money is to begin with. Nixon took us off the fiat money system in 1972. What he did when that happened is he took off all of the cylinders, all of the things that would have allowed us to grow in certain ways. We were on the gold standard, which meant for every dollar you could go to Fort Knox and say, here's $1, and they say, I'll be right back. And they chip off a little piece, and they're like, here you go, here's $1. But when they took us off of that, it was fiat money, which, by the way, is Italian for fake. Fiat money is defined by the faith that the person using it is in the government that created it to hold its value against market conditions. That is the definition of fiat money. By the way, you don't think that the world is based on faith? Pull a dollar out and take a look at it. In the United States, it says, "In God we trust," right on the back. E pluribus unum. Of one, many. In other words, we're going to make as many of these as we need to. Anybody else get stimulus checks? Where did that money come from? Where did it go to? The defense rests. I would be more concerned about developing your tools, your techniques, your skills, your abilities, so that then you can begin to work with real economy. The economy of energetic exchange, like holding the door open for other people. That's what's coming, guys. And I'm not trying to scare anyone, because you were told a lie. You were told that if you worked hard, you could achieve the American dream. You were told that you could become anything you wanted to be. And then reality set in and you became what you could do to survive. Now you're saying, well, what about our retirement? What about our housing markets? What about the things that I invested in? They bullshitted you on that. Don't you think they're going to lie to you about what you do for a living? Don't you think they're going to lie to you about what's in your wallet? By the way, this isn't dire. It just is. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's happening. During the pandemic years, we printed more money in the history of the world than any other time. Do you know why? We could. We have no control. We don't have a standard. The standard of the politicians, no matter where you are in the world, is to stay in office, is to manipulate their office for their own personal gain. I'm thoroughly convinced of that. I'm not picking an aisle. What I will tell you is that there's truth in advertising. Just start believing them and don't villainize them for it. Thank you very much, Senator, for getting that money from them. I don't trust you to make decisions anymore because that pharmaceutical company wrote you a large check for something that was never really vetted properly. Are you sure you're the best choice? Well, who else are we going to find? Our tribe doesn't, the smart leaders of the tribe don't want to be in charge. A little dose of reality. How's the housing market? Get what you can when you can. We will get to a point where we will start exchanging services, and not that kind. But it's not too late to get high knee socks, ladies. I'm sorry, that's terrible. But the dynamic that I want to kind of point out to is that this is the stuff that we've actually been talking about, Age of Aquarius and the dawning and all that other stuff. It's actually happening and people are scared. By the way, if you've prepared for it, you're kind of going, okay, yeah, I'm going to lose some money in the stock market, whatever. I don't rely on it. I treat it like the house gambled bet that it is. You would do just as well coming in to a casino, putting it all on one number or one color or one hand, whatever your flavor is, and just pulling the lever, saying, let's gamble this. You're gambling with your money. And they know that. In 2008, the housing bubble burst. And by the way, I will talk about this in terms of astrology. It's also when Pluto moved into Capricorn. And Pluto in Capricorn does not care. Pluto in Capricorn is ripping off all of the socially accepted things that we were told and lied about to get to the bottom of. Bernie Madoff was actually one of the pioneers to show you that Pluto was in Capricorn. He stole money hand over fist without discretion. He created and ran a Ponzi scheme for nearly 20 years, you suckers. Then when he got caught, he did some time, caught some cancer, and said goodbye. Sure, he shamed his family and his organization. Sure, he tricked the New York Mets and Steven Spielberg. But what it shows us, Pluto and Capricorn, is that reality is about to get changed. We're still right there, guys. You think our governments are going to help us? We're about to become very localized again. We just are, as a society. We talk about one religion or we talk about one government. That may happen, but it's going to be really about the parochialness of whether or not your town can afford to fill in potholes. It's going to be about whether or not your town actually has a good medical system, your area, your locality. It's going to be more about the local presence of what it is, because the global domination of things, just don't invade my territory, right? If Massachusetts suddenly declared war on New York, there'd be plenty of people upset about it. Right now, we talk Yankees and Red Sox. But if we had to take up arms, it would get real personal real quick, right? We're about to get really focused locally. And by the way, I'm not saying that Boston would invade New York. Wouldn't that be funny? And then like we draw up rules and the only thing we can use is like baseballs and baseball bats. Oh yeah, we do that already. We do it in Fenway and Yankee Stadium. Anyways, I'm a baseball guy too. I've been finishing up for almost an hour here. Yes, sarcastic paper. Oh my God, LOL. Yes, Brandon. You're welcome. I'm a Scorpio and I'm very neat. Very, very what needs to be done. Yeah, absolutely. There's a practicality. The eclipse with him. I love the mediumship. I saw something explode into dust when you were talking about your teacher. Oh yeah, Susan, up in smoke. Totally cool with that. If she walked through the door today, I would give her a great big hug. I would tell her I miss her, and then I would tell her she no longer has access to my energy. Forget about cutting cords. And by the way, if you explore the rest of my channel, take a look at the meditations. There's a lot of them out there. The things that I developed during school, during the intuitive development class, some stuff I did, on my own because I wanted to connect it. Oh, that explains the Nixon penny. It sure does. It sure does. Oh yeah, handsome bugger. It's a blue eye comment again. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Yes, another reading said waste of time and you'll just lose your money by doing that. Whatever. I'm buying seeds. Autumn Lucas, love that. Yeah, become a farmer. Should have been a farmer, Red. I just went natural on you guys. Baseball reference. Major spring cleaning here. I found a 1917 wheat penny. So 1917, right? You are 18-9. It's about change. You're about to end cycles, my friend. Fiat cars were never good, but worse than the Chrysler bottom. Yeah. Why would you name your car fake? Let's get a bunch of jack wagons. Wheat pennies are a tad smaller. Okay. Packaging political J. Not quite sure what that is. I was too young to understand. All right, Arlene, I get you. Develop your integrity and character, guys. Yeah, absolutely. I was never told that. Cynical. That's what I am. Yeah, Arlene, listen, why wouldn't you be cynical? They've been lying to you. By the way, Santa's not real. Where we are in the astrological chart in the time of history and man and civilization and everything else is it's Christmas Eve and we just figured out Santa's not real. What are we going to wake up to tomorrow? What do you believe in? It's funny when we talk about Santa Claus and we perpetuate the lie because of kids, and we perpetuate the lie because of how it makes us feel, and we perpetuate the lie because it's good for the economy. I perpetuate the idea that there's an equation of kindness. Buy this present. Put thought and effort into this gift for your brother, son. Buy this for your mother. Make a thing, a whatnot shelf, a whatever, for the person that you care about. Does anybody else get why I was encouraging her art earlier? You guys are figuring out how I tick. I'm showing my hand everywhere. Love you. Love you guys. Somebody say kookiness. I really like that. Thanks, Julie K. You always make me laugh. Enjoy it very much. Thank you for being real. I appreciate it. I enjoy being real. And I didn't quite see anything from you. Lisa, thank you for chiming in here. Gosh, I just realized I'm hungry. I haven't eaten much today. I love mediumship. I was just practicing before you come here. Yeah, get your meditation stuff going. Autumn, I really sense that with you. Don't get over your skis, though. Autumn, I don't know if you're trying to like push something on TikTok or IG or whatever, but develop a little bit more first. You could take off before you're ready, and I'm not trying to hinder you. I'm telling you, you're going to take off. You got to get some ducks in a row, though, and it's about how you handle tough situations. That's really what it is. I think you might have some challenging readings that you might not be able to handle yet. Make sure you have a good teacher in place. So something explode into dust. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Buying seeds, I saw that. Thank you again. Cynical, don't be cynical. Yeah, housing market follows the North Node. I believe that. I get it. Right now we're in Libra. Regardless of what happens, the money will rise and fall, right? There you go. I feel okay. Some reason. About everything. Yeah, Julie, it's a great big lie. And I'm not like zeitgeist about it either. I mean, the zeitgeist part of it is real. That if you're on YouTube, there's a pretty good chance you've at least seen parts of it. The religion one is freaking spot on. The religious part of that, holy Jesus. But you start to kind of recognize where, how do you not feel that way? And then you realize that you're compromised because you got to keep the electricity on. And then they can control you by jacking up the price on something. It's not a conspiracy, guys. It's actually happening. Anyways, how much is the loaf of bread here? By the way, another good find is Baba Vaga, who is known as the Blind Prophet. She was out of Bulgaria, I think, or Yugoslavia. She was out of one of the Baltic states, and she's got a boatload of predictions out there. Fun YouTube content. You'll go right down the rabbit hole on that. Kathy, yeah, we'll have the sucks here in Hawaii. Okay, go Sox, Sunray. We have to talk about that. I'll meet you at the Connecticut River. Shut up, Arlene. That's awesome. Funny would be a New York City girl like me, hired by the Red Sox, live here in Boston, like me having an interview on Stock Exchange floor. That's awesome. Good for you. We have a medium-sized garden. Well, I'm a large-sized medium, so. I'm Lucas too. I'm a Lucas too for now. Thank you for chiming in. And thank you, guys. I'm really saying hi to you. We've always been Santa. And I'm sorry, I cannot read Chinese. I can speak a little. One day we'll realize we're all God and what happens to religion. Yeah, I mean, it's... Oh, you didn't get the job. Yeah, she is like Baba Yaga, yes. The bad replay... Yeah, she's kind of... It's kind of creepy. The pictures are kind of creepy, right? Insanely accurate. Also, another good thing, if you want to do a rabbit hole on predictions and where things are at, Nostradamus, of course, is an old go-to. Edgar Cayce is close to my heart. I have stories behind that with him, personal connections. But also, take a look at St. Malachi's prophecies. It's actually centered around the Catholic Church, but it's in end times right now. It's really kind of cool. And when you look at the deconstruction, and oh, by the way, Pluto in Capricorn talks intensely about the end of religion, or at least the uncovering of religion, or the restructuring of religion. Maybe it comes out the other side and it gets back to the basics, the things that it should be. But when you really get to the bottom of it, has it ever been what it really should be? Just an observation. I'm not here to judge it, and I'm not here to tell you that it's good or bad. I'm here to tell you, what do Catholics, what do Christians really believe in? And by the way, can you talk about it without taking and take Constantine out of the equation? The Catholic religion was bought and sold. It was done so that then the Roman Empire would have a further reach because it was a fad that caught on. There is only 3 historical moments where the Christos is even mentioned in Greek Orthodoxy. And in Greek Orthodoxy was the historians. Herodotus never even spoke of him. He mentioned once the Christos from the Middle East as being someone of great integrity. I mean, I'll buy it. It's a nice thing to say, but this man changed the world. He pulled off a big magic trick. No historical value? By the way, if you follow the apostles, the writing, John, Mark, Matthew, Luke, earth, wind, fire, air, they're all told from different perspectives. The Bible is a giant astrological map. And it is about our equation in the sky. And I'm going to leave you guys with this statement. We slaughtered the bull. We defeated the bull. And we were told to never, ever worship the golden calf. We were told that it was bad news. Have I really been on this for 2 hours? Last shout out, and I'm going to end with the houses here. Great discussion, guys. I appreciate you guys. Arlene was, he was the last pope. Who was the last pope? Anyways, I'll go back and read these. But in the Bible, and again, with my background with a minor in theology, religious studies, I've done a lot of work on this, and I really see the conjunction between astrology and the Bible, because we are taught in the Bible, we are taught that the golden calf must be slain and never to be worshipped. What it was signifying is the age of Taurus is over. Don't go back there. Don't go back to the old ways. Then we have Moses and Abraham, the sons and the children, the lineage, all the things that we were kind of meant to show structure and social order. We were trying to figure it out, guys. We were in mud huts 25,000 years ago, right? We had to get some semblance of order, right? And then comes Judaism, right? The age of Aries. By the way, a bunch of rules. Don't lay with men. It's not good for the business. Go have sex with your women so we can make more kids. We need a religion here. Oh, by the way, keep your stuff up off the floor. Much of Judaism and the belief in Hebrew culture is a diet plan, guys. It's so then you didn't die by insects. It's because it's unleavened, because once you got the yeast in there weren't controls in place. You couldn't go to the fridge, Marge. What's the symbolism of where Judaism ended and then Christianity began? Let's slaughter the ram. It's the end of Aries, everyone. What's the symbolism of Pisces but 2 fishes? Give me 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread. Of a man that was born a virgin. In the sheath of wheat. The Virgin Mother. Oh, by the way, you know what sheath of wheat means? Bethlehem. I say it like as if like I'm in a bar at 2 a.m. going, is it Bethlehem? Dirty Bible. So now as we barrel through into the age of Aquarius, you will find him at the house at the edge of the town, carrying a pitcher of water. Guess what, everybody? The Bible is a giant astrological sign. Jesus is the sun god of Pisces. The lessons that we are meant to know and bring forward. The age of Pisces was very much about the communal understanding of connection, the intertwined. It's what we needed as humans as we go along. In the age of Taurus, where it's like, just do what we tell you to do. The bull will provide. We're going to let you free think a little bit. But here in the age of Aries, you got to eat this way, you got to marry this way, you got to procreate this way, you got to do this way. It advances society. The age of Pisces, figure out how to get together, male and female energy. Bow, chicka, bow, bow. Very much about the integration, the intertwined. As we wrap up the age of Aquarius, you know what this becomes in our relationships? It's the cause for the glass ceiling for women in marriages. Things just got real for some of you. Oh, by the way, it's also the midlife crisis for every guy that looks in the mirror at 40 and says, who the hell is this? Again, it's a Talking Head song, right? We're overcommitted, underperformed, right? Because we're like this. We have all these, we're over-obligated. Over-obligated. Women feel that they're held back. Men are feeling like they're restricted because of this. Let's get into the age of Aquarius now, everybody. The water bearer, I got my own. I'm good. What is water but the source of life? The symbolism of that alone is showing you that you need to be self-contained. You need to be self-sufficient. Buy your seeds. It's important for you to recognize that in the age of Aquarius, it is no longer this, but rather this. It is creating the Venn diagram of energy. You bring your stuff and I bring my stuff. You work on your triggers, I'll work on mine. We work together like this, not to become like this. Your problems are not my problems. This cancel culture is this coming undone, right? The idea of so many divorces is because this creates an unrealistic expectation of personal accountability. Teach your kids how to become self-reliant. I have 3 sons. I teach them to be a gentleman. Open the door. Say thank you. Compliment at random. Hug whenever possible. But punch them in the damn nose if they disrespect you. Last resort always. But don't be afraid to stand up for who you are. But know that there'll be consequences on the other side of it because you are being you. They are being them, and where you connect. And by the way, when you're done, you do this. Not because visiting hours are 9 to 5. And if I get up at 10 past 6, well, I already know that somebody's been through the door. Did I just go Alanis on you? For the 12 of you that are still here. Wow, we're still 80 strong here. All right, guys, I got to sign off. I thank you so much. It's 10:45. I'm way off schedule. I wanted to do like a half-hour Zelensky Ukraine thing. Peace in this world, guys. By the way, where this comes from, Putin is working on the Pisces model. I'm going to take you over. You need me. Ukraine is saying, fuck you, get out of here. I don't need you. I'm your big brother. I know. I don't need a big brother. I need you to not bomb me. Zelensky's like this, and Putin's going, get me in here. That's where our conflict is now. By the way, take a look at your personal relationships. Who wants to get into your stuff? Who wants to be your best friend? Take care of your own stuff, guys. Become self-resilient, self-reliable. Know your own stuff. Yes, incorporate this. When you come to me for a reading, I want to know what you need from me when we're together. That's my job right here. Love you guys. Listen, thank you guys so much for being part of my journey. Like and subscribe. I'm sure you already have. Take a look into the bio, into the link tree, Brandon Russ. I'm sorry, it moved so fast I didn't set it up the right way. I'm going to go back and put it in there. Give me about 5 minutes because it's got to finish processing. I'm going to start doing videos on a regular basis. I'm also going to have some membership stuff where I do talks like this behind the scenes. I want to be able to bring people on. I have to be smart with my time, my energy. Like I said, I have responsibilities in this world. But I love doing this work. I'm encouraged by it. I thank you guys for commenting. I love it when people are connected. Sweet dreams, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't put that out there. You're welcome, Donna. Thank you so much. Keep a knocking, but you can't come in. Yeah, there you go. Thanks. Could talk all night. Thanks, Kathy. Let's connect. Totally delusional. I've got enough tomato seeds for my entire city. Good. I don't know. It's Z. I'm going to say you're Z. Tell me what you need when we're together. Yeah, I mean, Why do we bullshit each other? Let me tell you what I need. Oh, by the way, another bullshit thing for mediums. Start calling mediums out on this, by the way. This is what I'm getting. This grandfather figure comes in and he tells me to go take care of the sunflower dress. I'm sorry, medium. Absolutely none of that resonates with me. Not a sunflower dress. I never knew my grandfather or whatever. Spirit told me, man. I'm just going to leave you with that. Bullshit. Bullshit. You should be interactive and you should be helping the person and you should provide value at every second. This isn't your goddamn ego trip. So you can sound smart in front of a room of people of untapped knowledge that you can't show. There's a part for faith. I'll say that. But if you can't provide that, the only thing that keeps me from being crazy is when somebody says that is 100% how my father would have acted. That is exactly the symbol that my grandmother would have given me. It's called validation. It also keeps you out of the mental institutions. Don't just fly by the seat of your pants because your ego needs to be stroked. Kiss my ass. Clean up this industry now. And if you're not good at it, find something else you are good at. Don't shame the rest of us because we're good at it. Tactic over. God bless you guys. Listen, thanks so much for being part of the broadcast here tonight. Since we can't be together, we're going to give the heart tap to one another. Tell one another we care and love for each other. Look for the shows coming up. Going on tour. You want to see me in a town? Put it down below. Send me a message. You know a venue I can get to? Talk to me. I'm going to be talking to Oregon here in a little bit. We got to wrap that up and we're going to get going. Thank you so much, guys, for being part of my journey. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.